When chaos strikes, you see it on the news, a flood, an earthquake, some kind of massive accident, it can feel like the world is just completely falling apart. But behind the scenes, there's a system designed to kick into gear, a framework for turning that chaos back into control. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the whole world of disaster management.
So here's what we'll be covering. We're going to start by really nailing down what a disaster is. Then, we'll look at all the different types and the huge ripple effects they have. From there, we'll get into the actual plan, the management framework, see who's in charge, and then bring it all home to the one thing you can control, your own preparedness.
Okay, first up, let's get on the same page. What are we actually talking about when we say the word disaster? Because, it's a whole lot more than just a really bad day.
Now, the official United Nations definition looks pretty simple on the surface, but there are two words in there that are absolutely everything. The two words that separate a bad event from a true disaster: sudden and huge. Let's dig into what those really mean.
First, you've got the element of surprise. Sudden means it basically comes out of nowhere, with little or no warning. That makes getting ready for it incredibly difficult. And second, the scale. A huge loss isn't just about some damaged buildings. It's a shock to the system so massive that it messes up entire communities, their economies, everything for a long, long time.
So now that we have a definition, let's look at where these disasters come from, because they are not all created equal and each one triggers its own kind of devastating domino effect.
You can pretty much group disasters into three big categories. First, you have geophysical events. These are born from the Earth and the atmosphere. Things like earthquakes, tsunamis, and cyclones. Then there are biological disasters, like huge forest fires or infectious diseases sweeping through a population. And finally, you have man-made disasters, which can be unintentional accidents, like a poisonous gas leak, or tragically intentional, like acts of war or terrorism. The initial event is really just the beginning. The impact of a disaster isn't just in one place. It sends shockwaves through every single part of society. The economy, of course, takes a massive hit. But then think about the social fallout, the medical crisis, the environmental damage, and the unbelievable strain it puts on governments. It's like a total system failure.
So, when you're faced with that kind of complete system failure, how do you even begin to pick up the pieces? Well, you need a plan. You need a framework designed to manage the completely unmanageable.
If you were actually on the ground during a disaster, the official response would unfold in three stages. First is the emergency phase. These are those critical golden hours focused on search and rescue. Then you move into the transitional phase, which is all about rehabilitation, clearing debris, getting water and power back on. And finally, there's the long, slow work of the Reconstruction phase, rebuilding not just buildings, but entire lives.
Now, for the professionals running the show, this isn't a straight line, it's a continuous cycle. It all starts long before anything happens, with preparation. Then comes the immediate response when the event occurs. Restoration follows, helping everyone recover. But here's the key part. The lessons you learn from that event get fed right back into preparedness for the next time. It's a constant loop of learning and getting better.
Okay, this is a massive, coordinated effort. We're talking countless people, different agencies. So a really important question is, who is actually in charge of making all of this work?
Well, coordination is handled through a really clear chain of command. Now, this can look different in different countries, but if we use the system in India as an example, you can see how authority flows from the very top at the national level, often led by the Prime Minister, all the way down to the state, the district, and right down to the most local village level. The whole point is to make sure that the big strategy can actually get carried out on the ground.
And if we zoom in on that district level, there's one role that is the absolute linchpin of the whole operation: the collector. This person is basically the on-the-ground commander. They're the one responsible for turning those high-level plans into actual action, coordinating rescue, managing aid, and putting the programs in place that help people rebuild their lives.
Okay, so we've seen the official structure, but disaster response isn't just about governments and agencies. It's also about you. Because in those first critical moments of any disaster, the first responder is almost always just a neighbor.
And being prepared really starts with the basics. This isn't just a list, it's a lifeline. Having a good first aid kit means you have the tools to handle minor injuries so they don't become major problems while you're waiting for help. A simple thing like a torch can be a beacon in a blackout. Being prepared is empowering yourself.
But, having the tools is one thing. How do you prepare for the chaos, the pressure, the sheer unpredictability of it all? I mean, you can't exactly schedule an earthquake, right? So how do you practice?
The answer is mock drills. And they do so much more than just let you practice. They're basically controlled chaos. They're designed to intentionally stress test the entire system to find the breaking points.
to see where communication breaks down or where the plan just falls apart. It's all about making your mistakes when the stakes are low so you don't repeat them when lives are actually on the line.
So what this all really shows us is that while we can't prevent every disaster, we can absolutely prepare for them. The system is designed to create order from chaos, but how effective it is also depends on us, on our individual readiness. So the final question isn't just whether the system is ready, it's whether you are.